Hello everyone, Speedrunner 0-18 here, and welcome back to episode 16 of the Pokemon Speedrun Analysis series, where we see how fast a Pokemon can potentially beat a certain game. In the previous episode, we did Jynx and Pokemon Yellow. Ice and Psychic is a very good type combination for Kanto, but due to a lack of a good move pool for Brock, she ended up having a terrible Brock split, but made up for lost time near the end. Today though, we'll be seeing how fast Chimeco can beat Pokemon Leafgreen after intense routing and grinding. Chimeco is one of those Pokemon most people forget about. In the Hoenn games, you can only find it in the top of Mount Pyre with a 2% encounter rate. Plus, Psychic is generally not a good type in Hoenn due to the abundance of Dark types. I figured this run was going to be bad, but then I realized something. I'm playing in Kanto, not Hoenn. Psychic is a great type in Kanto. Let's take a look at the moveset. It starts off with only Wrap, and then Growl at level 6, and then Astonish at level 9. This is not a good moveset to take down Brock since Ghost is physical, plus Astonish is weak as but the saving grace here is that Chimeco gets Confusion at level 14. We may have to grind to level 14 before Brock, but I think after that, Chimeco should be a breeze. Chimeco's stats aren't too bad either. I had to make some edits to this since Chimeco's base stats were changed after Gen 7 or so. Chimeco has 65 HP, 50 attack, 70 defense, 95 special attack, which is pretty good, 80 special defense, and 65 speed. 65 speed should be fine to outspeed most opponents. Plus, almost 100 special attack with Stab, Confusion, and eventually Psychic. Chimeco is just going to destroy the opponents. Oh, I almost forgot TMs. Besides Psychic, we also get Shockwave, which will help with the water types, especially Slowpoke. We also get one of the best moves in my opinion in this game, Calm Mind. It raises special attack and special defense by one stage. It's like half of a Gen 1 Amnesia. This will help us get through fights at a much lower level. Plus, the TM for Calm Mind is its Sabrina, instead of the useless Psywave TM like in Gen 1, so this will be amazing. Before we get started, if you happen to like this series and would like to see more, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really means a lot to me on our journey to 1,000 subs. Also, feel free to join the Discord server or contribute to the content on Patreon, as well as check out my DeviantArt and Speedrun.com page if you want to know what I've worked on in the past. With that out of the way, let's get into it. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's start with the rival fight. Since all we have is Wrap, that is how we win the fight. Binding moves in this game like Wrap, Bind, and Fire Spin, among others, work differently. Instead of trapping the opponent from moving from 2 to 5 turns, it'll just deal small amounts of damage every turn. They really nerfed these moves after Gen 1, and for the better in my opinion. And while we do the parcel crap to obtain our HM users, let's discuss the kind of Chimeco we went with. I went with a female Chimeco since we'll be relying on Attract for a later fight. And I went with the timid nature, which is plus speed and minus attack. We'll rarely be using our attack besides grinding for Brock, and in solo runs, you want all the speed you can get to make fights consistent. It's literally the difference between life and death. Or just a reset. Anyway, since we have to be level 14 for Brock, and I've discussed everything I wanted to discuss, let's get to the grind. Go montage! After we hit level 14 on wild Pokemon and trainers in Viridian Forest, I defeat the Light Years trainer in Brock's gym with Confusion, as well as defeat Brock himself with Confusion. His Geodude isn't a one-hit sadly, which is a bit concerning. That thing is usually specially brittle, so that was surprising. After Brock, I sell Rock Tomb and buy my usual potions, antidotes, paralyze heals, and repels, and I enter Route 3. The Route 3 trainers are 9 out of 10 times very easy if you have to grind a ton for Brock. Before entering Mount Moon, I get the Person Berry for Misty and then enter Mount Moon. I get the usual rare candy for later, defeat the Rocket and Super Nerd with Confusion, get the better Fossil, and enter Cerulean City. I always use the center and get the rare candy here, and then I can fight either Rival 2 or Misty. Since Misty has a Starmie, I felt it safer to do Rival 2 instead since Starmie resists Psychic. Let's see how Rival 2 goes. This battle is just a confusion spam for the most part. His Pidgeotto can screw me up with Sand Attack like usual, but luckily it's not a big deal in this fight, and on Abra I used Takedown, which Chimeco learned via level up. With Rival 2 out of the way, it's time for the Route 24-25 Gauntlet of Trainers. Most trainers here are just plain and simple sweeps with confusion. Sometimes I use Takedown to conserve power points for confusion. While here though, I get the Elixir, the TM for Attract, and the Pecha Berry here. I want to explain something. In the Kanto remakes, while you do get berries, the only renewable way to get them is with Pickup, which is obviously luck based, so I have to be careful where I use them. The Pecha Berry on Route 24 and the SS Sand are the only ones I get outside of Pickup or the Sevi Islands. The Cherry Berry I can only get on the SS Sand and Route 10 before Rock Tunnel. The Chesto Berry I can only get on Route 9, the SS Sand again, and I guess the 1 or 2 Snorlax that are holding a Chesto Berry, but I just run from them so that doesn't count. We also only get 1 Citrus Berry on Route 6, so I save that for a very hard fight. Oh, looks like the gauntlet is done. I get the Ether, save Bill from his weird-ass experiment, defeat the innocent bystander with confusion and takedown, heal at the center, and I use 1 rare candy. I do this so I end up at level 19 and learn Yawn for Misty's Starmie, since that thing's attacks are just brutal. I enter the battle, Person Berry in hand, and arrive at Starmie. Once Starmie is asleep, I can spam Takedown, but I end up putting it in heal range due to some bad rolls, so I get a reset, but on the next attempt, I win the fight for a split time of 30 minutes and 31 seconds. After arriving at Route 6, getting the aforementioned Citrus Berry and the rare candy, I defeat the camper, arrive at Vermilion City, and board the SS Sand, where I get the 3 trash can berries I explained about earlier, and then battle Rival 3. This fight is honestly just a repeat of Rival 2, except the Abra, now a Kadabra, can actually put up a damn fight. This fight is also just spam confusion on everything, except Kadabra, which I use Takedown on. I do get Sand Attacked by the Pidgeotto, making the fight harder than it needed to be, but I proceeded on just fine. After obtaining the HM for Cut and leaving the ship, I go to the mart to buy some super potions and repels for Rock Tunnel, and teach Cut and Dig to Rattata and go battle Lieutenant Surge. I have the SS Sand Cherry Berry equipped here just in case of paralysis. I just spam confusion on this fight. His Voltorb and Pikachu are one-hits, and on Raichu, I use a Yawn, most of the time get Thunder Waved, use the Cherry Berry, and then Raichu goes to sleep. Surge does use a full heal, but before he realizes, I defeat his Raichu for a split of 34 minutes and 50 seconds. After obtaining the bike voucher and getting the bike, it is now time for the Route 9 Rock Tunnel Gauntlet. The Rapping Lass is a one-hit sweep with confusion, so no bullshit from her today. On the Pokemaniac with the Cubone and Slowpoke, I was supposed to teach Shockwave over Takedown, but I forgot like an idiot, and I have to use Takedown to defeat it. On the next Pokemaniac though, I have Shockwave, so it's fine. Besides them, everyone else is very easy and not worth talking about, so let's just skip straight to Celadon City, where I heal at the center and do the Rocket Hideout. I get the usual items in here such as the Max Ether, the Lift Key since it's required to beat the game, Rare Candy, and Calcium. I also got the PP up here for later, but I ended up coming back in here to get it since I forgot it the first time like an idiot. Anyway, on the Giovanni battle, the Onix goes down in 2 confusions, and then next is Kangaskhan. Giovanni sends out Kangaskhan right away since it has a super effective move in Bite, but special defense is quite good and is able to shrug it off. I put Kangaskhan to sleep with Yawn and spam Confusion, and when Kangaskhan is knocked out, I use Confusion to knock out his Rhyhorn. Now, with the Silph Scope obtained, I dig out, get the tea, and go shopping. Besides the usual 8 super repels, today's Vitamin of the Day is going to be 2 Carbos. 65 base speed isn't going to outspeed some opponents, and Chimeco's special attack is already very good, so I feel like this is a good stat to raise. Now with Fly obtained, I teach it to Pidgey, use the vitamins on Chimeco, equip the Chesto Berry, and battle Rival 4 in Pokemon Tower. Pidgeotto goes down with 1 Shockwave, so no Sand Attack bull. Gyarados goes down in 1 hit, and then Execute comes out. The Chesto Berry is for the Execute since it has Hypnosis and takes multiple hits to KO. Kadabra goes down to Double Edge, which Chimeco learned via level up just before the Rocket Hideout, and then Charmeleon goes down with Confusion. While going through Pokemon Tower, I get the Elixir, take the Heal Pad, spam Confusion on the 3 required channelers, get the rare candy, send the Marowak to hell using Confusion so she thought she was going to heaven but not in reality. I rescue Mr. Fuji from her evil grasps and obtain the Poké-Flute. Now, it's time for the Safari Zone crap. After shooing Snorlax off to the mountains, I get the rare candy and max elixir on Cycling Road, and in the Safari Zone, I get the usual Full Restore, Protein, Gold Teeth, and Surf. Hold on, why did I even get the Protein? I don't think this was needed at all, but oh well, it's literally right on the path anyway, it takes like no time to get. Now, with that stuff done, I can either go fight Erica, Koga, or Rival 5 in Silphco, and I opt to go to Erica first. I defeat every trainer in her gym with Confusion for training. This is very quick training since they're all so close together. Now for Erica, she is just a Confusion spam. Next stop on the itinerary is Saffron City. I go here and get the TM for Psychic right away. This will be Chimeco's most powerful special move, especially with Stab. Now for Silphco. I get the Plant PP up on the 5th floor, the Card Key, the Protein on the 3rd floor, also in a plant, the Hyper Potion for a backup healing item, and I go to where Rival 5 is. But before I battle him, I teach Psychic over Confusion, use all my 3 PP ups on it to get my max PP of 16, use the Protein, Candy to level 43 to make some of the Rival's Pokemon guarantee 2 hits and not a range. I also equip the 2nd and final Cherry Berry I get, and I battle Rival 5. On Pidgeot, I use 2 Shockwaves to take it out. Or just 1 due to a crit. Nice. On Gyarados, he goes down in 1 Shockwave, but this is a range at this level. While Charizard puts me in low health for the Execute will most of the time use a turn 1 Stun Spore, so that's what the Cherry Berry is for. I recover from paralysis and defeat it. Now for Alakazam. This is the worst Alakazam yet. Its only attacking move is Future Sight, so I defeat it quickly and win the fight first try. Let's get to Giovanni next. On him, I just spam Psychic. Next. Before I cause massive property damages, I get the Carbos and Rare Candy on the 10th floor, use the Carbos, and then cause property damages. Now that I'm wanted by the Sylph Corporation, I better go flee and battle Sabrina while the cops are out. On her Kadabra, I use 1 Double Edge. Nice. Her Venomoth, I kill it with Psychic, which is kind of ironic since it's Sabrina after all. On Mr. Mime, I use a Shockwave and then Double Edge since Double Edge will not defeat it in 1 hit. And then Alakazam. I defeat it with a couple of Double Edges and achieve a split time of 59 minutes and 3 seconds. With law enforcement gone until next time, it is now time for Koga. On the first Juggler, I just spam Shockwave, but I do use Double Edge on Kadabra. But due to getting poisoned early in the fight, I make it through with only 2 HP left. Holy f***. Okay, let's go do Koga now. On Koga, I just spam Psychic on everything. I don't know what you were expecting. I then get Strength from the Warden, teach it and Surf to Lapras, get the Boulder Candy, and surf down to Cinnabar Island and enter the mansion. While here though, I get the Braden Rare Candy, the Carbos, and the Secret Key. I then dig out of the mansion and go battle Blaine. Before the fight, I talk Calm Mind over Yawn. Time to see just how good of a move this is in Leafgreen. While yes, Bulk Up does do the same for physical moves, most Pokemon in the late game are special attackers, so having special defense is more important in my opinion. Anyway, I set up just 2 Calm Minds, since if I set up more, Growlithe will be more likely to use Roar to force a switch, and I lose all my Calm Minds. Once the 2 Calm Minds are up, I spam Psychic. After rejecting Bill's island date yet again, I fly to Viridian, heal at the center, and enter the final gym. Let's just skip straight to Giovanni. On him, I just spam Psychic. Holy these fights are getting repetitive. But hey, I can't argue with the results. Now for Rival 6. On his team, I use 4 Calm Minds on Pidgeot. Pidgeot doesn't have Sand Attack or Whirlwind here, which are his most terrifying moves. And then I take down his Pidgeot with Shockwave, Rhyhorn with Psychic, Execute with Psychic, Gyarados with Shockwave, Charizard with Psychic, and Alakazam with 2 Shockwaves since I won't have enough HP for the recoil of 2 Double Edges. I was able to win since Alakazam usually fights like an idiot since he used Disable twice in a row and one of them failed. In Victory Road, I get the rare candy and arrive at the Elite Four. I use 6 rare candies to boost my level to 59, which is the minimum level I enter the league at, which is quite low for Leafgreen. I haven't done a single biker grind, which is really surprising. I guess it helps that Chimeco's in the fast level up group. With my level ready and full restores in my bag, I battle the final 5 trainers. Let's do this shit! On Lorelei, I use 6 Calm Minds and then spam Shockwave on her entire team. But I use Psychic on Jinx, since a Shockwave will not defeat it for some reason. On Bruno, do I even have to say it? I didn't even use a single Calm Mind and I just swept his entire team. On Agatha, just copy and paste what I said about Bruno. Also yes, not a single Calm Mind. On Lance, I have Attract taught over Double Edge. I use Attract on his Gyarados so I'm able to hopefully set up all 6 Calm Minds without getting killed. I then sweep his entire team with Shockwave for Gyarados and Aerodactyl, and Psychic on his Dragonairs and Dragonite. This fight takes 3 resets due to bad Attract luck. Not as many as I thought though. And finally, the champion. I use Attract to hopefully set up 6 Calm Minds. His Pidgeot here has Sand Attack and Whirlwind, making this Pidgeot the worst out of all the rival fights. This fight also takes several resets due to bad Attract luck. But once I get past the Pidgeot with Shockwave, I spam Shockwave on his Gyarados, Charizard, Alakazam, and then I use Psychic on Rhydon since I can't use Shockwave obviously. However, by this point, Chimeco may have had some Sand Attack, so Psychic can miss. But luckily it doesn't. Shockwave never misses, so that wasn't a worry. And his final Pokemon, Exeggutor, goes down in 2 Shockwaves. I have Chimeco hold the final Chesto Berry in this fight just in case it goes for Hypnosis, and Chimeco takes down Exeggutor and defeats the champion with a final time of 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 45 seconds, and a game time at the Hall of Fame of 3 hours and 28 minutes. Besides the early game with Brock, Chimeco really overperformed. Not even the Kanto Legendary Birds can do this solo run without doing at least 1 biker grind. Chimeco needed 0 of them, just rare candies. This earns Chimeco a first place spot on the leaderboard. Good job Chimeco, you really earned this time. The next episode of the Pokemon Speedrun Analysis series will be Pokemon Emerald with Lileep, one of the Hoenn fossil Pokemon. Oh boy, Rock does not do good in Hoenn. I know that not only from experience, but also from a future video coming to this channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. Don't forget to check out the Discord server, Patreon if you want to, as well as everything else I have. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next speedrun.